science fiction and fantasy enthusiasts, and welcome to our podcast. With Ryan Sean O'Reilly, David Wilkinson, and Richard Mell. You're listening to No Deodorant in Outer Space. Now, let's get started.
That's the duty of the old, said the librarian, to be anxious on the behalf of the young. And the duty of the young is to scorn the anxiety of the old. They sat for a while longer, and then parted, for it was late, and they were old and anxious. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of No Deodorant in Outer Space. My name is Ryan Sean O'Reilly, and I'm joined tonight by my demon, Copernicus, the northern...
What's up, party people?
The North American Kestrel, also accompanying me in this podcast, yelling there in the corner. Richard Mell, who's accompanied by his demon, a red panda named Candy.
Oh, I answered to the first description. Shit.
I thought that was you too.
Well, that's me. I'm sorry, Rook. Go ahead with your intro thingy.
We're also, of course, joined by David Wilkinson and his demon, Flubbers the Mallard Duck. Dave?
You know what? I'm my own demon.
Barf.
But I appreciate the duck reference. It's good. It's a throwback. How you guys doing tonight? Welcome to Trump Land.
Good.
Population U.
Population U.
Wilk, you do have a duck tattoo, right?
As far as you know, I do.
As far as and I was trying to find out, Rick, don't you have a bear tattoo?
To be fair,
Yes.
I got it right over my ass. It's kind of a tramp stamp, really.
Tramp stamp. On the left or right side?
It's dead center above my ass.
So it is a tramp stamp.
I just want women to look at that when they're taking me from behind. Because it really, I'm like, they're giving it to me.
Why not?
Well, it's a personality that we've all grown up with.
Is anyone drinking tonight? Sounds like someone was.
I've drank nothing, except I had some Coke earlier.
I've had a couple glasses of wine, but that's not a big deal.
I'm going to have myself a nice Speedway Stout here.
All right, hey, hold that thought. I'm going to grab a beer.
Sounds refreshing.
Brewed by AleSmith. I've been really into this lately. It's an Imperial Stout with coffee. It's 12% alcohol by volume.
Goes down like motor oil.
I think I've shared it with you, haven't I, Rick, or no?
Probably. All of the shit that you like is very thick and very potent.
Yes, I do tend to like that. I had some Chimay with me already, but I decided that I wanted to get this stuff and not have Chimay.
Now, to me, Chimay is the creme of the creme because it is crisp and it is not heavy, yet
all right,
it contains about 9% alcohol, and it's just a fucking great balance. Great red ale.
Yeah, the Chimay is a great drink. I love it, but I don't know. I felt like having another dark beer tonight.
I have a stout.
Really? What kind?
Great Lakes Brewing Co. Blackout Stout, it's called.
Nice. Is it like a coffee stout or anything like that, or just a regular stout?
It tastes very coffee-esque. I found it in the fridge. Black and dark as a powerless metropolis. Our Russian Imperial Stout. Commemorates. It's for the infamous 2003 blackout that left 55 million people unplugged. That didn't hit you guys, I don't think, did it? That blackout?
I don't know.
No.
It hit
no blackout here in Iowa.
Yeah, no, that was like 2003. We lost power in almost all of Michigan.
Oh, 2003. I remember that.
Yeah, no one talks about it, but it happened.
I don't remember that.
Any other updates from you guys?
Well, yeah, I found out that the majority of my office has voted for Trump.
Maybe she got a Trump tramp stamp. I hear that's the new thing, where you get a picture of Trump right above your ass. It sends a message. I'm not sure what the message is, but it does send a message. So
I think that would be a very popular tattoo in this next decade or so.
The Trump tramp stamp.
Just
you
Trump's
heard it here
face.
first on No Deodorant Outer Space.
Trump's hairdo.
Be home with the Trump tramp stamp.
Trump's hairdo.
Yeah.
Now, where would it go? Like maybe on the back of your neck? I don't know. You've got like a head on the back of your head.
I don't know.
Just kind of looking behind you because you're just kind of paranoid, or who knows? You got Trump looking after you, basically.
I just want to think if looking at Trump while you're being intimate would be an aphrodisiac of any kind. Would it give you more power, fertility? It might. I mean, I don't know.
It does. No, it's real. Like you, every time you express power, some out there is.
Yeah. Well,
What?
You gotta do that, man. Yes, says Trump.
Yeah.
Rick, are you happy?
You gotta embrace it.
Are you
just
happy?
Have to embrace it.
Not to get off Trump, but are you happy?
Well, you are getting off Trump. I don't appreciate that.
Oh. Well, this is going to be coming out. This is our
moment of our time.
This is our Christmas episode.
Good.
It'll be coming out in December,
right before the inauguration.
Merry fucking Christmas. Let's move on now.
Yeah, we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy, right, this week?
No, we are not doing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, boy, is my face red, because I did a shit ton of research on Guardians of the Galaxy. Are you sure? This book felt a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy that I read, at least.
Well, actually...
I kind of watched the Star Wars trilogy, and I can have a few words on that and how it relates to the Trump election.
This episode, we are actually covering The Golden Compass, which is also known as Northern Lights. It's part of the
favorite.
His Dark Materials. It's a trilogy, I guess. Came out in 1995.
Come on, everyone knows this trilogy. It resonates so well with our listeners and the American audience. I mean, this is like on the tip of everyone's tongue. This is a book we've all read 1,000 times. I mean, it needs no introduction, but go on.
Written by Philip Pullman, and the film, The Golden Compass, which came out in 2007, directed by Chris Weitz, and starred Nicole Kidman.
People Magazine's Most Desired Man of the Year.
Philip Pullman was?
Yes.
Really?
That doesn't sound right.
I know he was. I'd say he's top 20.
In Britain, he was. Man.
Oh, in Britain?
Yeah.
I wish I was in Britain right now with Philip Pullman.
Well, why don't we go around the horn and give our opening comments to start off this episode? Just a quick one-sentence summary of your thoughts on this book. Well, let's start with you tonight.
Did you vote for Trump?
I didn't say who I voted for.
That's my only thought right now. That's all I can think about is who you voted for.
What's your thought on the book, though?
I think that I probably shouldn't discuss a book with a Trump voter.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable speaking out some of my personal thoughts about any topic, candidly with someone who just does not take anything seriously enough to vote responsibly.
I feel like you're going to report me to the red shirts, or the red hats. But.
Me too. I should just stay mum.
I am going to report you to the red shirts. Get you took out! Straight up Star Trek.
Okay, well...
Yeah, Ryan's starting to resonate here.
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, let's talk about this book, because we're all so interested in this fucking book. Yeah, the book was stupid, but it was well written. It's good for kids. I wish I hadn't read it, but I did. It was decent. But, my time would have better spent masturbating into a box of Kleenex while watching bear movies in Showtime.
All right, Rick, let's go to you. What's your opening comment?
Reading this book was kind of like having some sweet potato french fries with Cool Whip on top, some chocolate syrup, Italian meatballs, and marinara sauce with cherry on top.
Yes, it was. I see that.
All right. And I will say this was a tale told by a crackling, comforting fire while the bitter northern winds gust dangerously against the window panes outside.
You always say that. You say that about everything.
Hey, I like to recycle. All right. Like I said,
you said about
this
Shakespeare
book was
in Love. That was the exact same thing about Shakespeare in Love when we saw it together. And you
held my hand.
Quote. You held my hand when you said that. You looked me in the eyes when you said that. And now it just means nothing. It means nothing to me now when you say that.
Just like our relationship. So, this was written by Philip Pullman. Rick.
Jesus.
You were assigned the task this episode to give us a little background and bio on Mr. Pullman.
Yeah, so Philip Pullman, he's a great English bloke who grew up thinking that his father was great, but then found out that he was killing weaponless Africans.
Dad, you're killing Africans again? Mom was going to be so ashamed.
High up at his RAF plane with his machine guns. And the way he died was not from return fire.
It's not even sporting, Dad.
But from crashing into some canyon in some river ford.
Papa!
His dad was in Africa?
My father was a hero.
He was killed by an angry African who gave away his hot air balloon.
Oh! But then later, he found out that his father just pretty much slammed his plane into some fjord wall.
The original 9/11.
In Kenya. And, he was probably drunk, and he wanted to end his life anyway.
He was probably drunk, and he probably wanted to end his life.
There you go.
Where are you getting that information from?
On top of that.
Wait, Rick, where are you getting that information from that his father was drunk?
I think he went to, Exeter College.
And they're known for their drinking.
This guy, Philip Pullman, thought he was so smart because I'm sure he was just so fucking opinionated.
Well, his dad died in Africa. That makes you extra smart.
Right. If your dad dies, it makes you very opinionated.
Especially if he dies in Africa.
I know.
Driving drunk.
I know.
In a plane.
Right.
How do you know that he was drunk when he was driving the plane? Where'd you get that from?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, how else would you just slam your plane into a wall?
I thought they were flying in steep canyons, and it was low visibility.
Why the fuck were they flying inside canyons?
What? I don't know. Why were they?
They were fucking. They were drunk, probably.
They received orders, and they were stupid enough to follow those orders.
Oh.
And the military-industrial complex needed to sell Great Britain more airplanes, so they recommended these stupid-ass tactics to fly inside canyons with their fucking propelled airplanes. And that's what they did, and they died.
Okay. All right, now we know.
But anyway, his dad died a meaningless death. He thought he was a hero until he thought he was a hero because his dad received a medal. I guess it was the medal for him getting killed. And he
what
later
a
found
jerk!
Out right. I have no idea under what personal circumstance his father was under maybe the influence of while he crashed his plane. But I knew that he was disillusioned with how his father went. I think he imagined his father gunning down some slimy, African, Shaka Zulu type character trying to throw a spear at his modern day airplane. And the spear just missed because his father dodged the spear.
But Rick, isn't this in World War II? Wouldn't he be going after, isn't he going after Germany at this time?
It's in 1954.
No, you didn't read it up, man. It's in 54. So, yeah, this is when Great Britain was trying to colonize Kenya, and what they would do is
World War 2.1 is a very small war against an unarmed African population.
And look, the Northern Africa was taken over by the Germans hand and fist during World War II. This was an attempt of Great Britain to take Northern Africa back, okay, because they needed land. They've identified that Kenya's land is ripe for commercial farming, so they just started taking up land, and they compelled the natives of Kenya to commit to slave labor. I would say wage labor.
That's what inspired this book, slave labor, and why he was strongly for it. This book's a metaphor for slavery.
Sure.
The Damons are all slaves.
Argue that.
They are slaves to their masters. And we need the Damons. Gobblers. Slavery is good, hence this book.
But, of course, Philip Pullman, he thinks of himself as a smart man. And, he does some research about his father's death. He probably looks at some microfiche. Probably got a little bit of help from Wilk, because Wilk regularly looks at microfiche when he goes to the library.
That and gay porn.
It is known.
Porn does exist on microfiche.
God, yes, it does. It existed in many formats, all of which I can share with you right now.
But Philip Pullman found out the truth, and when he did, I'm sure it rocked his world.
Daddy killed again!
That's probably when he decided to
I'm gonna write a book about demons!
Crazy shit. So he wrote it, and this is it.
Take that, Narnia!
Right, Ryan, what do you have to append to my summary of Philip Pullman?
Fuck you, C.S. Lewis!
Well, tell us more about Pullman. You told us a lot about his father. What else? What about Pullman can you tell us?
Yeah, well,
I mean, the father...
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did Pullman Jr. die in a plane crash yet?
I didn't get that far, Will.
Okay. Go on.
Okay, so anyway, he started this book as... What the fuck was it called?
Narnia, Part 2.
Narnia Part 5.5. But it was changed to the Golden Compass because some stupid fucking American had no idea what a compass was. All right. I guess the whole story of the book is it kind of revolves around this enigmatic object called the compass, but the stupid American didn't really read into it. And it's not a compass that guides and points north. It's actually a drafting tool.
So the story behind
make perfect circles.
The story behind that is that I think the Golden Compass was one of the original titles for the trilogy that Pullman was considering, and the American publisher, like you said, got a hold of that and really liked it, and they thought the altimeter, which is the device you're talking about in the book, was a Golden Compass, which was not. Pullman is a big fan of Milton. He learned what's Milton's famous work?
Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost.
Yes. Okay, Paradise Lost. He was really inspired by that, and he loved Milton, and there's some lines in there by Milton, I think, where it talks about describing God using the great golden compass or something to create the universe, the circumference of the universe out of the abyss, or something like that going on.
So here we have a stupid American who tries to interpret Milton's great works.
No. So what happened was
out with
that's why
the lodestone.
That's why the author had used the Golden Compass as a term. Then he changed his mind later and wanted to call the trilogy his Dark Materials, but the American publisher, like you said, already was in love with the term the Golden Compass, and so they kept it for the American books and changed it for the UK and Australia books.
It's always some kind of magnetic fucking direction that you must receive from some divine power, right?
It had two names, one here, one there. That makes all
the
difference.
compass, I think, is what do you saw? What are those devices when you draw circles with?
Those are called compasses as well, Ryan.
Yes, so that's what he was, kind of alluding to.
And that's what Milton was referring to.
Yes, and so that's what Pullman was referring to.
Exactly.
Oh, a compass.
Yes. What else can you tell us about Pullman himself?
No, back to compasses. Oh. What can you tell us about compasses?
He's a very outspoken bloke who likes to rant against organized religion, and what he really means is the Catholic religion.
Well, let's get into that in the movie episode. Let's save that part of his life.
Well,
in
all
the movie
right,
episode.
yeah, a little tease there.
I saw that he was a teacher.
We're gonna Catholics next episode. We hate those Catholic bastards.
He was a grade school teacher for a while, and then until he had success as an author. He is very outspoken politically, and I think he's championed a lot of authors' rights. I think he's been heads of some organizations.
I love teaching.
He stepped down from one because authors weren't getting paid for speaking engagements. He joined a movement to go against putting labels on books to label books for boys or girls, or putting labels on books to label book for a certain age.
It's the Dewey Decimal System. I don't know where the books are.
So he's pretty outspoken politically.
He likes chaos in the library. Is it fiction, nonfiction? Is it adult fiction? No labels.
No, he likes books being able, like readers just being able to find books as they are and not being directed to books.
He often goes to Woolworth and removes labels from clothing just to cause confusion. He hates labels in all forms.
That's not proven. I heard him talk on a podcast where he was.
Well, can you just play the podcast for us on your phone? That way, I don't have to hear a description of it. You just play it.
We'll lose all our fans, our few fans that we have.
I mean, just hold up to the phone and play it, because that's not.
All right, boys. So one thing that Philip Pullman did as far as politics was he sided with the conservatives of the House of Commons about, let's see here. Here, hold on. Give me a second here.
Take all the time you need.
Swedish Arts Council. I'm just reading random shit from Wikipedia. Some are easily much better than others, and some are obvious classics. You can't do a select Grimms without Rumpelstiltskin, Cinderella, and so on.
Oh, yeah. What
I was going to say about Philip Pullman was that he actually went to college. He was extremely opinionated, very outspoken, and he expected to be in the first graduate class, whatever the fuck that means in Britain. A plus, baccalaureate, cum laude, and he ended up being at the bottom of his class. So what I gathered from that was, I mean, his professors, they were not stupid. Okay, they saw right through his shit, and they pretty much gave him a label of average or below average. All right, it shocked his ass, and so he probably, after graduation, he probably went on and tried to brush up on life. Okay, he probably read up a lot. And he taught. And I mean, these are all kind of rudimentary things to kind of get yourself back in touch with humanity. And not only, I mean, least of importance is yourself. You don't need to be in touch with yourself. He thought he was in touch with himself. But what he did was the opposite. He tried to get in touch with other people. He taught. And I think he may have gotten a little bit smarter after that. It's quite possible. And I guess, he felt very strongly about religion. He describes that he was brought up within it's like a special religion in England.
Church of England.
The Church of England. Yeah. So England has its own cult of religion.
Okay? Is it Anglican? It's very close to Catholicism, sure. I think, but it's
Why not? It's not, it doesn't have anything to do with Catholicism. It was created despite of Catholicism.
Right, but I mean, the teachings, I think, are close to Catholicism.
But they hate Catholicism.
Anyways, you were saying the portion of allowed in museums?
Right. So in the museum, he found out that he was a stupid idiot. So he reached out and he touched somebody.
Go on.
Touched the trunk. Many people, I'm sure, when he was teaching. That's what you do when you teach. You try and...
How quickly did he leave teaching?
And I'm not saying in a physical matter, only in the figurative.
How quickly do you think he left teaching after he got famous and rich? Like a minute?
No, it would take like a second, like a nanosecond. The amount of time it sends, the brain sends the thought to your conscious mind.
For the week before he had his first check, he's like, I just love teaching. It is so inspiring. It gives my life purpose. A week later, I'm out. I am out. I got a Maybach now, bitches.
I got a Maybach. Maybach, by the way, is the luxurious version of a Mercedes S-Class.
Yeah, Mercedes is trash compared to Maybach.
But anyway... I don't know. He's kind of a conservative. He's kind of a prick, very outspoken.
He's conservative? He's conservative?
Yeah, I would think so. He's socially liberal, of course, but he's fiscally conservative and he's religiously conservative, obviously, with his whole Church of England bullshit. It's a cult, really. And the leader of that cult is
I think he considers himself agnostic.
Well,
right?
Yeah, ultimately, technically, he does. All right. But it really goes back to his upbringing, which is the Church of England and, bowing down to the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Okay.
I like those Canterbury eggs that come out around Easter.
And, I think he has something to say about colonialism, but he's too chicken shit to say anything about it. So I don't really respect the guy.
I'm not sure if there was a whole lot of metaphors in here. I know that he, I don't think, we're not going to get into the anti-religious stuff too much, but he did not like the Narnia series for a variety of reasons. And he kind of thought of this book as the antithesis of Narnia. And
I don't know if he said that, but people have definitely said that about this.
Has it been people? I don't know. I don't
know that he said that, but he is. You're right. He's not a fan of Narnia, and he's also not a fan of Tolkien. He's not a fan of fantasy.
That's just shock. That's shock value. He's like, yeah, I don't like Tolkien.
I think that's right. He said that Tolkien. I read every book. He said that Tolkien's book, it doesn't have like a love cycle. He said, I think he said read Wagner's Ring Cycle. I think that's better. He said the only interesting character in Tolkien's books is Gollum. There's no love like in Tolkien's books.
Oh.
I mean, Tolkien's book doesn't have a lot of
for love, and he finds Gollum.
Romanticism, but it doesn't have like a love interest like that.
He's looking for love. He finds Gollum's obsession with the ring, and that's what he likes. That's great.
There's no trumpets in Led Zeppelin songs either, but that doesn't mean they're bad songs. I mean, not everything needs trumpets, and everything needs a love cycle. But
it's also curious because he said I don't think he's not a big fan of fantasy, and he doesn't consider his book fantasy.
It's fantasy. It's like it's overwhelmingly fantasy.
He considers all of his books raw reality.
Yeah, like stark reality.
Oh my God. Are you kidding?
I'm learning stuff.
It's just shock. He's looking for shock.
I mean,
reaction.
Is he just a contrarian? I mean, yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, like,
he is.
This is absolutely this is like the most fantasy book we've read in 3 years.
So fantasy.
This book reminds me of Narnia in a lot of ways.
Right. I mean, and maybe I almost thought that he was after I read that he didn't like Narnia, that he was going out of his way to put fake symbolism in here because
it was only like Narnia because he wanted to influence the naivete of young people. He wanted to brainwash.
Well, I also felt the tone of it was very much like Narnia.
I agree.
Why? Because he wanted to brainwash young minds.
No, I just felt the writing style, the narrative style, it just kind of harkened me back to reading Narnia.
I think he had an agenda.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. When authors write science fiction or fantasy and then they try to declare that they're not writing science fiction or fantasy, that really kind of rubs me the wrong way. When their books are clearly, fantasy or science fiction or something like that.
I just want to point out, I'm not making a joke about you saying rub me the wrong way. I've matured since the beginning of the show.
If I could see your tramp stamp tattoo, this would be a totally different experience.
That duck is so hot, it's got to be so much tail.
All right. I don't think we have anything else to say about Pullman, at least at this point. Why don't we get into the book, okay?
We haven't already? Right. My God. Sorry, go on.
Jesus, finally.
No. Technically, no. So, we're talking about the Golden Compass. Wilk, why don't you give us a synopsis of the story?
I'm the worst person to do this, Ryan, and you know that. So just
I know.
Please cut me off at any given time here. I will not yell at you, I promise. Okay, basically there's a girl who's possessed by a demon.
And her name is?
Rachel.
Wrong.
Lisa.
Wrong. Getting closer.
Lyra.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. She's like 12, but in college somehow. Someone gets poisoned. She gets sucked into this fantasy world where everybody's got these little animals that are demons that are reflections of them. The demons can change back and forth until they reach a certain age, and then it's permanent. Ann Coulter's involved in some shape, way, or form. There's a whole bunch of crap. They go up north.
Ann Coulter?
Bears kill people, and there's a lot of weirdness going around. Child murder, experiments, demon. You know what? It's a good read, but the first half of it's very confusing, and the second half kind of ties together. But there's a whole lot going on. That's my synopsis.
Wow. If anyone can get anything out of that, I'll be amazed. If anyone can get anything out of any of Wilk's synopsis, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell us what you got out of it.
Ryan, give us all a favor.
In my defense, I'm not trying that hard.
Ryan, you can try hard on this one. What is the synopsis in your mind?
In my mind, the story is about a girl who thinks she's an orphan, and she lives at essentially a college, and her uncle, who she thinks is her uncle, comes to visit and is telling the people at this college about this mysterious dust substance that is putting a challenge on the existing religious order of the time. And he wants money to go research this. The little girl, like Wilk said, it's kind of slow in the beginning. She witnesses this and her uncle going off to go research this dust thing. She gets caught up in a series of misadventures around town with some other local kids. And what ends up happening is they find out, or some of the kids start disappearing. There's these mysterious group called the Gobblers that's taking kids away. as we learn about that, the girl is visited at the college where she lives by a very, I guess, sort of attractive woman who says she wants to take her in as her protege. She goes off to live with this woman and finds out that this woman is responsible for the child disappearances. So then she runs away, and she ends up kind of on an epic adventure heading north to where her uncle is to discover about this mysterious dust. And she kind of runs into all kinds of troubles and stuff along the way, one of which is coming to some town it's in the Arctic, I believe, where there's this bear called, what's his name? Yorick Berenson, who's down on his luck. In this, it's a fantasy world, so there's bears, there's witches, there's ghosts and stuff. It's not heavy on the fantasy, but it exists. And she ends up helping this bear, and he joins her group, and essentially she joins a bunch of, I think it's Egyptian people, who are going to look for what happened to the missing children. And that's sort of the quest. And that gets tied up to this dust element, which is kind of an interesting thing, because there's a couple interesting things that have like religious connotations going on with this book. One is that every person in this world has a animal entity that follows them around that is essentially like a soul. I think you guys would agree with that. And when people are young, the animal entity can change to different forms, different animals. And then when they hit puberty,
I said that though,
it becomes fixed. It turns out, they find out that when they really study things, they find out there's this magical dust that surrounds people when they become adults. And there's kind of a connotation that this relates to original sin, that when you become an adult, you have original sin. And they're trying to all figure this out. So, but the real main quest is what happens to the children and why are they being captured? And it turns out, that Lyra is this woman that wanted to adopt her as her protege is actually her mother, and her uncle is actually not her uncle, it's her father. And they're all tied up in this, I guess, exploration of trying to figure out what is this magical dust particle that everyone is studying to try to figure out what does it mean for people. I think I've still kind of convoluted, but I don't know if that gives any kind of light to what happens in the story. But let's talk about the dust element.
Oh, yes.
So I talked about the dust. So
yeah, the dust, yes, the dust.
So the dust, Rick. The dust is it's almost like they.
By the way, Ryan, that was quite the synopsis.
It wasn't my best work, but
I feel like mine was better. To be
short
honest.
and sweet.
The dust is essentially, well, I don't know if it is or not, but they kind of relate it to original sin, and it's almost like children don't have a lot of dust, but adults do, and like children are innocent. Children have these demons, and adults have demons, but the children's demons not fixed. That reminds me of like how kids can become when you're young, you can become anything.
Don't make me do this,
and then
Ryan,
when you're adult, you become more fixed.
You're killing me here, but original sin, original sin is original sin. You don't get more of it as you get older. The whole context is everyone's born with original sin, so why wouldn't the kids have the dust?
I think they have like a little bit of it, right?
Well, yeah, but that would be the original sin element. So it's not original sin.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
But an original sin can germinate and it can extrapolate into something very large.
I think that's what they label it in the book. I understand your point though. You're supposed to be born with original sin, but in the story they relate it to original sin, and I think Lyra's father, Lord Asriel, who she thinks is her uncle, and later figure out is her father.
Asriel.
And not the cat from the Smurfs.
I was actually hypnotized once, and Lord Asriel is a trigger word, so I'm now going to cackle like a crow.
Let's not get into. So I guess
Lord Asriel, the man's fish in the synopsis.
He has discovered that there's other worlds, and there's worlds where people don't have their souls on the outside of their bodies as demons, demon spirits,
and their genital.
And he said he's going to go to these other worlds and destroy dust so that there's no more sin in the world.
So Philip Pullman loved the Smurfs.
Well, and also a fun fact, Rick: while the soul's outside the body, the genitals are always inside the body for the demons.
Yeah, it does make sense since they are they conceive life. The testicles
inside the body. Anyways, all right. I think we're a solid hour into the show here, minus 10 minutes to air. So let's we got some momentum here.
I only have about 48 minutes.
I think let's wrap it up. Segue to the movie, yeah, because we're not gonna. The movie won't be a complete train wreck if we get into it now. But if we spend more time talking about God dust, it could be bad.
Well, what did you like about this?
There's no point to this book.
We haven't really even discussed the book. I guess my overall impression of the book is I enjoyed it, and I like Wilk was telling me when I first started reading it. It's a slow book, and I felt it does kind of pick up as it goes along. But I felt like one of the problems I had with the book, although I enjoyed it, was that as it goes along, it feels like the author was kind of conveniently introducing a new obstacle, and then we'd get past that obstacle, and then we just meet the next obstacle, and it just felt like it was not all masterminded together. Like her first, issues with the Egyptian people.
You're starting to give your opinion on this book.
I like it.
You think it was done sporadically, haphazardly, perhaps?
I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed the world building elements. I enjoyed the armored bears and the witches and learning about those things. And I enjoyed the clockwork and steampunk technology with the golden, well, it wasn't the golden compass, the altimeter that could help Lyra predict the future.
But when you tried to thread everything and make sense of it all, was it worthwhile?
Yes, but I just felt it was plodding along a bit.
Here's how I felt. I felt about this book the way I felt about the band 21 Pilots. You guys are probably familiar with them.
Not at all.
Well, I drive my daughter to school every day. They have songs on the radio. They're good songs, but I'm just...
You listen to the radio?
On the way to school, they like to listen to their morning shows. Yeah.
I like FM. I like AM. I like all of it.
I never listen to radio.
I don't either, but...
What do you listen to? Podcasts?
Yeah.
I do too. But I'm just...
And Pandora or other stuff like that.
Anyways, I'm almost 40. The band 21 Pilots, these guys are all probably like 20 years old. I like them, but I'm just too old for them. I don't want to dive into their catalog. That's how I felt about this book. It's a good book. I recognized it, but maybe I read it when I was 15 years old. I have no desire to read any more books in the series, but it was a good book. And I guess but it's kids stuff. I don't know. I mean, I felt bad enough about reading Harry Potter when I did. So,
really?
Which is still pretty good. Yeah, it was all right. The last two books kind of annoyed me a little bit, but it was pretty. They were good books, but I'm just saying I don't like getting caught in these young adult novels. And one of my pet peeves are adults that read these kids' books and act like it's literature, like they're geniuses for reading something. It just. Anyways, but I'd recommend it for my kids.
So you don't think that young adult books are literature?
I think they're for young adults. I think they're for teenagers and things like that.
It's not literature.
It's like what was that horrible book we read? She's from Chicago. It was remember talking? Divergent. Oh my God. This is better than that. Way better than that. But
I mean, I don't think if something's written for kids or for adults, I don't know. I still think it can be literature.
And you're right. It can't.
He's right.
I'm referring to if you're on the L or a transit car and you see some dumbass reading a book and they're making a big point of showing you the cover and it's like The Hunger Games Part 2. You're like, fuck you, It's like, come on. It's like, who are you showing off for here? Just, why don't you just read Hustler instead or something? I don't know, but
same shit. Yeah.
But that's a tangent. I'm just saying it was well written. It was well received by me. I'd probably give it 3.5 to 4 stars. But at the same time, I just don't feel like I want to invest further in the series. And it's kind of an odd thing to say, but that's where I stand. I mean, I read the first book. I'm not going to read the second or the third or whatever, how many there are. So take that as you will.
Very good. Very good. Very good. 3.5 for Will.
I'll go 3.5.
Ryan,
I'll go 3.5.
You give it what? 2 stars?
We're not really going to talk about the book?
Ryan, you're going to give it 2 stars, right?
We're really not going to talk about the book?
We did have the book. It's got demons and a college and culture and bears.
I mean, like I said, this book is such a potpourri of just a variety of things, and I get distracted more often than I'm trying to find the rhyme and reason to it. And I know there is. I mean, he's got some beef with religion, organized religion especially, which he is channeling through his hatred of Catholics and Catholicism. And he's using some wild metaphors, fuzzy bears, gobblers. The gobblers were goblins, right? Or were they
no, the gobblers were
shadow henchmen.
Were just the mother and her organization that was capturing the children.
That's right.
One of the things that the nefarious part of this book was that the children that they were gobblers were capturing children so they could sever the demon from the child. These animal demons had to
sever, right? Sever using violence, like the Inquisition.
Lord Asriel demands the demon.
Well, they had to physically sever the demons of the child.
Lord Asriel, it's time to disembowel 1,000 Catholics.
Were essentially attached to the child, not by a limb, but by they couldn't. I mean, I found all that kind of interesting. How he developed the magic of the world and stuff. I thought it was unique, and fun.
Magic you just make up, though. I mean. Okay, you're running from someone and he keeps going through the walls. I mean, you just fucking make it up.
Magic, that's wrong, Rick, because magic, in order for it to be good in a book, it has to be believable in the world that you create. And when it's not, it fails and then you have bad writing. So I think he set up good rules and he kept consistent with them, which made this ultimately a successful book.
It does not fail If it's funny, though. If it's funny, it never fails.
Well, that's just another. That's just a stylistic.
Was not funny. It was just serious shit.
That's just a stylistic choice.
It's like serious fantastical, which is an oxymoron.
So you did not enjoy like the demons and the talking bears and
it was fucking all
witches.
Over the place.
Okay,
like I said,
it was like it was a lot to take in. It was kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? This is a kid's book? Are you kidding me?
But come on. I don't think he didn't
contrive to fucking make them think that something structured in a belief system is completely wrong. All right, I agree with that. But you shouldn't be fucking telling children that. Like, children should be guided by their parents who think they know what the answer is. All right, that's all.
This child is raised without parents.
Just give her a copy of Animal Farm and a pack of cigarettes. She'll figure it out.
Exactly.
I mean, I disagree with you, Will, because I felt like he introduced the fantastical elements sort of in a metered way. You're not hit all at once with all these elements.
No, I'm not. I didn't say anything of substance there. I mean, I'm not sure I disagree with you either, Ryan. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I mean, I don't think it was a bad book. I thought if you read it through, it kind of tied together, and you can see where it's going in the trilogy. But like, there were so many things going on here. I can appreciate it being well written. I was kind of into it towards the end there, but like, it wasn't like I can't wait to hear what happens next kind of thing. So I'm not sure. That's more of a review, I guess. What are we talking about here?
I guess we're talking about the fantastical elements. I feel like he doesn't just drop you in. I feel like the world that you're introduced to is very close to our world, and then he just sort of slowly introduces the fantastical elements. I didn't feel like it was overwhelming.
I agree. I agree with how he slowly. I'm just saying there's so many things that happen in this book. That's a little bit overwhelming. I wasn't overwhelmed. I'm never overwhelmed by the fantastical elements in general, but like I just felt like the plot wasn't super. It wasn't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It wasn't.
I felt like we were just going along step by step by step, and he's like, "Okay, I'm introducing this, and now we'll resolve this, and then we'll introduce something new, and we'll resolve this." And I was like, I didn't feel the overall connection of it.
Let's come back to Tolkien real quick too, in the same kind of vein, because Tolkien's. And Ryan, please correct me when I'm wrong here, but like the Lord of the Rings trilogy wasn't originally designed as a trilogy; it was more of a book, right? And the editor wanted to divide it into 3 different things. Is that semi-accurate?
It's essentially one story. Yeah, they divide into a trilogy. I mean, he wrote it as I think 6 short books.
Okay.
But then they put, if you read the trilogy, you can see there's divisions between book 1 and book 2 in like the first book. And when the movies came out, they actually released a version of the books the original way that Tolkien wrote it. But
Ryan,
his publisher decided, okay, Ryan, let me finish.
Hold on.
So the publisher is the one who wanted to release it as a trilogy.
Ryan.
Right.
Ryan, when did the first book end? The first out of 6 end in the first of 3. When did it end?
I don't know, Rick. It might have been in the Council of Elrond. It might have been the Council of Elrond, and then I know the end of the first book of the trilogy ends up at the breaking of the Fellowship, I believe. When.
No, that's a great nugget that you just kind of pulled out of your ass, and I commend you for it, man. You didn't look up Wikipedia. You just kind of gave it your best shot. Thank you, Ryan. True leader.
I agree with Rick and Ryan. It's a rare moment. I agree with both of you. No, I'm just saying, my point is that when Tolkien wrote that book, which I agree is one of the best ever, this book, I get kind of annoyed with books that are designed for serial writing. Like even Narnia, I think he had a very concise vision. This one, I kind of feel like he's just planning a sequel, planning a trilogy, and I don't know. That just...
Well, that's what Tolkien did that a lot of these people didn't do, and it's maybe a criticism of Tolkien from full-time writers, is that, Tolkien took 20 years to write the trilogy. He stayed a full-time professor and just sort of completed the entire work. And then when he submitted it to his publisher, they just released it, I think, 1 year after another, and it was already done.
That's authors like Peter Jackson made the movies too. Same way.
Yeah. I mean, authors like Pullman or George R. Martin, they write the book and then it gets released. I mean, they write a little bit more than just the one book, but they didn't like have this master story already written and then go back and fix it to.
And that's why I like Tolkien, because I mean, now we're talking about books I actually like and care about. George R. Martin, that pisses me off. I mean, that guy is gonna fucking choke on a chicken wing and die before he finishes the series. So F him. Mm-hmm. But no, Tolkien did it right. He kept a day job, contributed to society. He had his little masterpiece. He basically wrote 2 things that people will remember him for: The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I know there's other things out there, Ryan. Don't yell at me, but those are the 2 things. And really,
well, he's got scholarly work.
I just said don't yell at me. Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Like,
and some children's stories and stuff.
Buffoons like me think of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings when we think of Tolkien. Those are the 2 big things. But the Lord of the Rings was a voluminous, epic effort, and he released it all at once. This guy kind of, to me, it seems kind of like a hack,
when you're trying to release a serial novel. And this guy seemed like he was trying to set it up for a commercial thing. And people get a lot of encouragement for that now from the studios because they want the next Harry Potter, the next this kind of thing. So, I don't know. It's a little bit suspicious.
Studio loves that shit.
And again, the Harry Potter book, what makes that so great is all the detail and forethought that went into it because she knew the ending and stuck with it from the very beginning. And that's the genius of that series.
Well, people might say the same thing about George R. R. Martin, that he knows where it's going to end. I think he does probably know where it's going to end, but he just has a
Martin has no fucking clue right now.
It doesn't mean he's not an asshole. The guy's sitting talking about like pro football games instead of writing the goddamn books, and the TV series got ahead. He's just a lazy piece of shit asshole who's...
Okay, all right, let's not get too harsh on George.
Wait.
George R. R. Martin.
Sorry, George, if you're listening, you're a great guy. Please come on our podcast.
What names are the RR? Is it Randy Wrinkledink?
I don't know what George R. R. Martin's RR, but I know Tolkien is John Ronald Raoul Tolkien, and one of the Raoul, I think, is actually his adopted confirmation name.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so moving on to the book. We're moving past the book. Let's go to the movie. Let's wrap this up.
Let's go into our final comments. Let's go to Wilk first.
All right, I give this book 3.5 stars because it's well written, well received, but ultimately it's not super interesting. I thought it was a little bit contrived in that he was purposely trying to... He didn't write a one-off book that you can enjoy on its own without having to read the whole series, in my opinion. But that being said, there's enough there to give it 3.5 stars.
Okay. Rick, any final comments and your star rating?
Just a bunch of blither aimed at children with really no control over their mind as they're reading books. They're taught to learn from books, right? So children are reading to learn, and they're reading this. And this is telling them to fuck authority. And sometimes... Well, you can't fuck authority. You have to walk the line, all right?
It's so odd to hear you saying this, but go on.
But you have to walk the line. You really do. People become successful walking the line. And when we're talking about success, it seems like it's the most fucking important thing in the world right now, especially with Trump being our president-elect. But, I mean, I'm embracing his election, and, I've got some faith in the fact that he's a New Yorker. And I think his upbringing will get the better of him.
Yeah, you know what? As straight white males, we'll be okay, right? That's basically it. We're going to be okay.
And so, how many stars are you giving this book?
Thank God we're not Muslims or women or gay.
2. Now, make it a 1.
A 1.
1 star. Yes. Wow. This is a new Rick Mel, fully employed.
And real quick, before I just about the Trump thing, it's easy to get complacent because, again, we are all white guys. It is kind of relaxing, and you fall into that trap. But, think about everyone that's not like us and how terrifying it is for them. I mean, I work with people. I know people who are just...
Oh, my God.
They're profound. They're profound, and they should be. I mean, we've got advice...
fucking PSTD right now.
I hope that Trump is...
post-traumatic stress disorder.
More bravado than...
Eons.
He's actually, he
what?
I hope that he's mostly...
Say this again and fucking clarify yourself. Come on.
I hope that Trump is, there's a lot of ado about nothing. That he's a lot of bravado, and some of the crap bullshit that he said is just him posing to get elected. And then when he actually, takes the position that he won't...
That's what every...
All right, Rick, go ahead and talk. Rick, go ahead and talk.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, that's what every Trump voter says. You can't believe 80% of what the guy says. Well, if you can't believe 80% of what the guy says, then what exactly are you voting for? Do you have any idea?
I'm just saying.
Do you know anything?
No, this is what
are you doing voting for this?
It's kind of. I'm not talking about voting. I'm talking about. I think Trump is a blowhard and he's full of shit. And I'm just hoping, because I'm just talking about what Wilk said, that people are worried. People that are, not in the majority, okay, that are not, like you said, white males. I'm hoping for all of us,
minorities,
that Trump is just talking a lot of shit and he's not going to follow through on some of the crazy bullshit he said. That's what I'm just saying.
I can tell you this. We will not see any more commercials, though they will soon get faded out, of black men hitting up white women in television series and in commercials and even in Star Wars. In Star Wars,
and
they will
Star
kill
Wars
off.
And Star Wars.
Star Wars Part 8 will kill off the black man. Yes.
Star Wars Part 8. Jungle Fever canceled.
Yes. Yes. The black man will die, and the white woman will find her kind.
The stormtroopers will replace their helmets with hijabs.
So you're saying now that Trump is going to be president, he's going to be rewriting the new Star Wars movies.
The culture will trickle down to Star Wars.
And that's a great transition to our movie episode, which you can tune into in a few weeks. Ryan,
all right,
take him away.
No, I didn't give my final comments. My final comments on this book is that I'm going to give it 4 stars.
Okay.
Because I really did enjoy it. I agree with Wilk that it started slow, but once it got going, I got into it. But ultimately...
Do you have any agreement with me?
What?
Don't you have any agreement with what I said?
No.
Or are you just going to blow it all off like it was just nonsense bullshit?
Well, it was.
Okay.
The angriest podcast in town. I love it.
My main problem with the book is that I felt it just wasn't masterminded, and I felt like it just like I was saying, the plot kind of plotted along a little bit too conveniently. But I did enjoy it in the end, and I enjoyed the world he created, and I thought there was a lot of originality to it.
The fuzzy bears, yay!
I did like the armored bears, which we
armored,
didn't even talk about.
Like medieval.
Yes, I enjoyed that.
Game of Thrones armored.
And on that note,
tune in next month when we cover the movie The Golden Compass, which was directed by Chris Weitz and starred Nicole Kidman, came out in 2007. In the meantime, please go to our website, nodeodorant.com. Follow our podcast, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, TuneIn Radio. We got a YouTube page. You can go to Google Play. You can go to Stitcher, iHeartMedia. We're in a lot of places. Any place you can pretty much find podcasts, you can find our podcast. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everyone you know, love, and anyone you hate about our podcast. And hopefully they'll subscribe. And we encourage people to write comments and tell us how crappy we are. Just how we talk smack.
I'm a buffoon. Also, I got a plug. Laura and I have recorded 2 episodes of a new podcast that we are going to launch with the help of Ryan, or the expertise of Ryan. We're trying to do 1 episode a month, but maybe more. And we've changed the name twice, but the name right now is How to Avoid Murder and Other Awkward Situations. How to avoid murder and other awkward situations. And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss we're going to discuss basically like true crime things that have happened, or various horror movies, or some combination thereof. Give the facts and then describe how we would have avoided dying in that exact same situation. So look forward to that. By the time this is up, there'll be a link on our website to go there.
Well, why didn't you invite me on that? I could have some insight.
He's just starting it, Rick. Relax. Maybe you will get invited. You're not going about this the wrong way. Rick, you're going about this all the wrong way.
You didn't invite me, man.
Rick, you're going about this all right. You're starting with anger. You're starting from a place of anger. Could you just relax?
I'd actually love to have you on
there. You just started it. Why don't you start from a place of love?
I'd love to have me on, but what?
We haven't recorded.
He just started, Rick.
We recorded in our living room.
Hey, Ryan, stop cooling.
You're so reactionary. Right? Go back to brushing your teeth in the background.
You can be our first guest. We've had no guest yet.
Right.
Actually, that's not true. I heard you talk to your brother-in-law.
So when Pinhead tries
we fired him. That was a different format.
You fired him already?
Yeah, he's gone. He actually
I'm fired.
Yeah, he quit when we changed the format. We're gonna do this instead of that, and he said, "I'm out of here."
Okay.
So.
Oh shit. Anyway.
All right. Let's all say good night, everyone. Goodbye.
Good night, fuckers.
Good night.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode, or to read our show notes and find us on social media, visit nodeodorant.com. For more information on Ryan Sean O'Reilly and his various works of fiction, visit ryanseanoreilly.com. For more information on David Wilkinson, visit drycracker.com. For more information on Richard Mell, check out his profile at goodreads.com. The theme music for this podcast was written by John Doyle from the band I Decline. You can visit him at i-decline.com. Voiceover for this podcast was provided by me, Margaret O'Reilly. Well, that concludes our episode. We hope you've learned a lot. Again, thanks for listening to our show. And always, always remember, there is no deodorant in outer space.
Check. Wilk, can you hear me? Wilk, are you out there? Oh, Jesus. Why? You never explain shit, so I won't expect anything from you. Oh, okay. If you start working at Jimmy John's, I want a full frontal portrait of you with your hat. And you got to put it on the website.
Shit that you're going to have to upload.
Oh, God.
It's even more now.
Oh, God. 35 megabytes.
So a while back, the Cubs won the World Series. Are you a Cubs fan, Rick? Or you're more of a Sox fan, right?
Yeah, I watched the series rooting against the Cubs in the beginning and wanting to see them get kind of blown out just so that I can see like the reactions from all these well-to-do Cubs fans in the stands that paid exorbitant amounts of money, upwards of $1,000 per seat. That quite didn't happen, but I had a partial wish granted in that they only won one game in Chicago. When they actually went into Cleveland, I was pulling for the Cubs just because I guess it's just the Chicagoan in me. It was kind of magical, but I felt so filthy after that because I've hated them my entire life. They've always, the Chicago media has always ignored the White Sox.
Did you take a shower?
And I've always resented the Cubs. Yeah, I did take a shower, but I've always resented the Cubs and the fans and the entire world around baseball because of that. So now I'm just saying, great, they won, but next year it probably won't happen again. Probably won't happen for a long time.
Just like Trump. Trump probably won't win too, but
there you go.
He did.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to spend most of his time completing his vendettas against the thousands of people, the droves of people who kind of called him out over the years.
He doesn't care. He won. He's president. I mean, he's a liberal.
I know one thing.
What?
He's going to erase all the taxes that he owes.
Why wouldn't you?
Forgive himself.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah,
exactly.
Draft your enemies, erase your taxes, and prima noctre. I mean, these are all things that you do when you're president, like immediately.
Right.
He's earned it. He's earned it. I mean, this guy's earned it. I mean, look at the shit that he did, and we somehow elected this guy president. That's pretty amazing. I mean, he's on tape bragging about rape. I mean, you guys get mad at me when I bring up rape on the show. I'm not even bragging about it. I'm just joking about it.
Oh, he brags about it though. He puts it out on family television, stuff that you don't even have to pay for.
Let's talk about let's talk about misogyny for a second here. Like everyone talks about racism. Let's talk about misogyny. Let's just pretend this is a thing. Let's pretend there's a pageant where we try and select who's the best Asian or black person, and we make them do a talent show and show how Asian or black they are. That wouldn't fly. But this guy owns beauty pageants. I mean, think about what a beauty pageant actually is. I mean, it's complete nonsense. It's archaic. This is a misogynistic, sexist piece of shit, and he is now our president because of the economy, and also because the Democrats completely failed in every conceivable aspect. It was theirs to win the election. I mean, they fucked it up. But my God, it's just like it's just like a sick feeling in my stomach that's not going to go away.
Yeah, I felt sick as well. But now I'm learning how to kind of embrace it. You just have to embrace the change. You really do, no matter what happens. I was a Bernie fan. I became a Clinton voter, and I can contribute a little bit. I think I can.
But Ryan, your guy won. You win, so we defer to you. You're the big winner.
Why do you say he's my guy?
Isn't he?
I don't think I ever declared.
Crickets, man.
But you voted for him, right?
You voted for somebody.
I voted, but I didn't say who I voted for.
You voted for Trump.
Oh.
I didn't say who I voted for.
You just did.
He voted for Frank Herbert. No, he voted for Trump.
You voted for Trump because of abortion or something.
Yeah.
Because Daddy voted for Trump.
Every year that goes by without me knowing exactly what the hell Ryan does in his political.
Oh, we know what
every 4 years.
We know what he does. You know what he did.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he acquiesces to no information just means that he's so fucking ashamed that he voted for Trump and that he cannot defend him at all.
Hey, Rick, ask me if I've stabbed anyone and left their body in my trunk.
Well, have you stabbed anyone and left the body in your trunk?
I didn't say that. I didn't say. Okay.
Let's turn the floor over to you and ready. Let's go ahead and start.
Comes
Rick
from
Mel, ready and begin.
Island of Great fucking Britain.
All right, Rick, ready? Go ahead.
Wait a second, we got to transition into this.
As a teacher, he was not subject to the national curriculum.
Anyways, I can talk over you too. So if we're not going to cooperate on this, I'm just going to go to bed. But if you
come on, Will, don't quit on me.
I'm not going to quit, but like we need to go back and forth here. Ryan's just monologuing, and it's only like in the first episode here. So,
you're kind of just saying nonsense in the background.
Will, if you want a monologue, don't say yeah.
Oh no, I mean if Ryan's not going to respond to what I'm saying, I'm just going to do that or go to bed.
What did I not respond to? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Pretty much everything that I'm saying. So you got to start.
You're just kind of saying non sequiturs in the background.
Yes, I am, and so you need to respond to those and not talk over them and not cut me off when I start talking. Otherwise, why am I here?
Should one respond to a non sequitur?
Well,
I'm not taking sides here. I'm just asking an objective question.
Well, he's talking over me.
You say your little jokes, and they're said, and that they are what they are. I don't know what else you want to do with it.
I don't want you to talk over me.
I don't think I was talking over. I think you were talking over me.
Well, you are.
All right, boys. But they hate Catholicism.
I'm excited.
So Lisa's listening in. She can join us if she wants.
So right now they're discussing
Lisa Simpson?
Lisa is Wilk's wife.
Wrong. Oh, Wilk knows. He's got this figured out.
I'm sorry.
He's bringing his ally, his only ally.
He's complaining about us.
Wilk needs allies. I know, Ryan, you don't need allies. I don't need allies. What's up, Wilk? What's going on over there?
Talking about how boring this is to my wife. No.
Wait, your wife is listening in on
No, she's making a Sunday with Callie.
Why don't you join her?
I might.
Oh, don't say that. You're discouraging Wilk. You're only dampening his creativity by saying that.
I'm a little bit discouraged, but yeah, no. Anyways, you were saying the portion of a lot of museums? Sorry.
They are in there somewhere, Wilk.
I was getting beer. No, I mean, yeah, the Narnia's...
Where's my beer, bitch?
Hey, now. Hey, now. You take that back, sir. I love you. Thank you.
Do you have the Google Doc open? I have the character names in the Google Doc so you can reference.
Well, I know I've been called a buffoon before in our comments, and this isn't going to help with that, but I can't open it for some reason, so I'm just winging it right now. Right, I'm an idiot. I am not smart.
I stand by our listeners' buffoon comments.
You would. I speak as you.
Is someone peeing?
Someone is definitely. Is there a microphone in the bathroom? That's impressive. That's a Blue Yeti. That's a Blue Yeti.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
It's like naked
Rick,
gun.
what setting do you have your Blue Yeti on? The urination? The urinal setting?
Doesn't matter.
Did you switch it to urinal setting?
What? I mean,
here
that is impressive. That's very impressive.
Yes. Oh shit. I'm settled.
Okay, so
is everything else. Wow.
Oh, I got a little chilled right now. This is not stimulating to me, so... Ladies, no need. Anyway...
Wait, what did you just say?
Exactly what I said. It's all recorded. You can rewind it and listen to it again if you want. You're going to be editing this thing.
So I'll probably have to listen to it like 6 times.
I say don't edit this at all. Just put the raw stuff in there. This is gold. It's gold, Jerry.
Oh, go with the raw dog. Go with the raw dog. No protection.
Like where? Shared with me?
Let me see.
This portion of the recording will be included in the outtakes. Because Ryan just loves including technical difficulty. technical difficulty.
I have no idea what this would be. Okay, so the book synopsis.
Okay. Why not? We're 45 minutes in.
Inside the body.
Anyways, well, get up on that mic. You're backed off it.
Well, it's probably good for everyone.
Let's try to fix something.
Here's how I felt. I felt about this book the way I felt about the band. 3.5 stars, yada, yada, yada.
Oh.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into our final comments.
Oh,
that's the wrong musical transitions, actually.
Okay.
Let's go to Wilk first.
All right. I give this book 3.5 stars because
TuneIn Radio. We got a YouTube page. You can go to Google Play. You can go to Stitcher. Yes, you can find our podcast. So tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everyone you know, love, and anyone you hate about our podcast. And hopefully they'll subscribe. And we encourage people to write comments and tell us how crappy we are. Just how we
I'm a
talk
buffoon.
smack.
Also, I got a plug. Laura and I have recorded 2 episodes.